Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Daily Dizzle. I got my addictions and my problems. Bitch, you have an easy life. Ah! Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, to the Daily Dizzle. For Friday, February 25th, 2011, it is Tommy Dizzlemits here, as always. A very, very snowy day outside Dizzle Studios here in the heart of Dizzleville. If you guys haven't already heard, we are in the running for Pop Chip's Vice President of Pop Culture contest. Ashton Kutcher is the president. They're looking for someone to help him out, do monthly blog recordings on pop culture, things like that. And since I've been doing that on a daily basis anyways, you guys should recognize that, oh my god, this is Tom's job. So, if you guys could help, you can click the link in the description. You're allowed to vote once every 24 hours. After you click that, if you can't vote anymore, pass along to your friends, family, plaster it all over the place, do whatever you can. That's what we're doing. There's about a week and a half left of voting, and it'd just be nice to make some kind of impression. But if you guys haven't taken care of that already, we're going to move on with the video. You can click the link at the end and just give us some votes because we need it. So now we're going to move on to the President's Day actual weekend results from the box office. We said we were going to have the comparisons for what the estimates were versus what the actual results ended up coming in being. It's really fun to check that only because they always put out the estimates on Sunday morning. So essentially what the studios are doing is guessing how they think Sunday's going to go. They have to guess based off the word of mouth, how the movie was performing, how it performed from Friday into Saturday. If it's a family movie, it'll get a bigger bump. There's all sorts of factors to try and take in. So the Sunday guesstimates are always fun to check afterwards to see if the studios were trying to blow smoke up everyone else's ass to make it look like they're going to be more successful. However, with the #1 movie for this past weekend, Unknown, no matter what, it was still a success. The 3-day numbers, it actually came in slightly ahead of where the estimates were. However, it came in slightly behind them on the 4-day, mainly because when you have Sunday estimates for a 4-day weekend and you're trying to guess what's going to happen on Monday, when your Sunday hasn't even gone through yet, it could just lead for so many things that you can't account for. So even though Unknown did not match its 4-day estimates, it's still doing a lot better than anyone expected, pretty much proving that if you put Liam Neeson in a ridiculous action movie, it's going to open at #1. Meanwhile, under that, I Am #4 took #2 for the 3-day weekend and actually came in ahead of its estimates on both counts, though for the 4-day numbers, it actually got pushed back a little further by Romeo and Juliet. Romeo and Juliet, on the other hand, for the 3-day weekend, it was actually underestimated. I guess a lot of families were saving their business for the President's Day Monday because it actually came in ahead for the 4-day weekend. So it's just kind of weird how you have to try and guess, and you might guess wrong on one day and wrong on the next day, so it evens out in the long run. Meanwhile, just under that, Just Go With It, Adam Sandler's latest movie, it's starting to not perform at the levels that they're expecting because they overestimated it for both the 3- and 4-day numbers. So right now, it is on track to be his least attended movie since Little Nicky, which at this point remains the low bar on Adam Sandler's career. Meanwhile, Big Mamas, I can't even believe anyone went and saw this movie. But more people saw it for the 3 days than the studio even expected because it came in ahead of its estimates. Meanwhile, for Monday, it came in slightly behind, though. And to round out the comparisons, my absolute favorite, Justin Bieber. Apparently, the studio must have thought with his CSI episode and all the other tie-ins that he's been doing that Bieber Fever was at its peak, and they estimated more people coming out than actually came out for the 3-day and 4-day weekend. However, it's all going to be for naught this weekend because they actually have a backup plan. Once Bieber started to trail Romeo and Juliet in the 3D theater numbers, that's when the Justin Bieber movie decided, oh, we're going to put the uncut 3D version out, but only in 3D theaters. So that's very interesting for the fact that it's not uncommon to have 2 3D movie openings in the same week, like we had with Bieber and Romeo and Juliet. However, it's the weeks after where you have theaters that, if you have a movie theater only has 2 3D screens, and you've got 2 movies that just came out and another one coming out like this weekend with Drive Anger in 3D, you kind of have to make a choice as to which one is performing stronger that you want to hold on to. So really, it was a great strategy from the studio for Bieber, not only to get him to pull a little bit more ahead of where they expected him to be, but to also compete with Romeo and Juliet, which is doing a lot better than expected, and now they're just trying to cut into that as well. So it will be interesting to see how the 3D screens end up affecting if Romeo and Juliet drops off a bit, if they drop some, if the Bieber extended cut isn't enough for a lot of other theaters to try and keep it, or if they just opt to not have 3D Nicolas Cage. Personally, I don't think that last one is a good option, only for the fact that I love a good, bad Nicolas Cage movie. I mean, Wicker Man I saw in theaters, and it was one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. If you haven't seen the 3-minute video of Nicolas Cage in the bear suit beating up women and his bad acting, look up The Wicker Man. It's the first clip that'll come up. But really, I cannot fathom what can make a movie like that any better. Oh wait, yeah I can. 3D. So I'm definitely going to be one of the ones who sees it. I don't care what anyone else says. Nicolas Cage is the shit, whether or not he is batshit crazy. The other movie opening this weekend, we've got Hall Pass, the next Farrelly Brothers comedy. They can be hit and miss. I mean, obviously they're the ones who made There's Something About Mary. However, their more recent movies, like The Heartbreak Kid a couple years ago in the same time period, not really as successful, and they haven't been able to match their peak of their early career. And if you want to compare it to other movies that came out in February even, I mean, you've got Owen Wilson in this, and even though it's an R-rated comedy, you can kind of check back to when Drill Bit Taylor was launched in February. It was a PG-13 movie and only ended up making $30 million. At the very least, they can count on DVD sales and rentals to help out if they end up not making any money from it in theaters this weekend. So that does it for our preview of this weekend's box office. Between the two new releases, if either one of them is expected to be number one, more likely to be Hall Pass. We'll have to wait and see if their clever marketing of, does this smell like chloroform to you? Oh, just kidding. We'll have to see if that actually paid off or if it turned off viewers in the long run. But if you're looking at the holdovers, it's going to be a fight with Unknown to see if it can take the number one spot. Of course, Taken opened at number one. It was able to hold on close to the top spot and had amazing legs. Ended up only making a fifth of its total in its opening weekend, which doesn't usually happen nowadays. Nowadays, it's more likely to be a third of your total to half of your total from your opening weekend. So as long as it has Liam Neeson legs, it might actually claw its way to number one for a second week. You also have to take into account that Romeo and Juliet's going to hold up well just due to the fact that it's actually getting good reviews. And Justin Bieber might not drop at all because of the fact that he might have fans running out to be like, I gotta see the extra 10 minutes of Justin Bieber on 38. So yeah, we'll try and make sense of how the weekend box office will look when the Friday numbers are in. We'll bring those to you tomorrow for the weekend update. In addition to that, we will have our Oscar previews because they're coming up on Sunday as well. So we do thank you guys for joining us here as always. If this is your first time checking out the Daily Dizzle, we are here Monday through Friday with a weekend update. You can keep up with us by clicking on the username Dizzlemits or going to youtube.com/Dizzlemits. And if you haven't already voted for us for Vice President of Pop Culture today, go ahead and do that. And if you did it yesterday, go ahead and vote again today. Pass it along to as many people as you can. We need the exposure. So thank you guys for joining us here as always. I'm Tommy Dizzlemits on behalf of the Daily Dizzle. We hope to see you here tomorrow, and we hope you keep voting. We'll see you then.